The war in Ukraine is still raging. June 7th, 2026. Lyman direction. Signum Battalion, FPV drones in the air. And the soldiers on the ground aren't from Russia. Foreign nationals, recruited, deployed, and sent forward into one of the most drone-saturated sectors on this front. No coordination, no formation, no awareness of what's tracking them from above. This is what Russia's manpower strategy looks like in 2026. When domestic recruitment falls short, foreign fighters fill the gap with the same lack of counter-drone training, the same absence of support, the same outcome waiting for them. Every wave ends the same way. This Russian soldier was spotted by 414th Magyar Birds drone operators while moving alone through open terrain in western Donetsk. He was likely aware of the drone threat and was moving quickly in an attempt to avoid detection. What he didn't know was that an FPV drone was already approaching his position. When he stopped near the trees to hide, the drone was already closing in from behind. Before he could even notice it, he had already become the target. Open terrain. A Russian soldier moving forward, a fiber-optic FPV already closing in. No signal to detect, no warning. He never raises his weapon. There was no time. This soldier was attacked by an FPV drone moments after leaving an underground shelter. He didn't even have time to understand what was happening. Pokrovsk direction. A Russian soldier on a motorcycle, moving fast across open terrain, a 110th UAS unit FPV already in pursuit. He pushes the throttle, trying to open distance, but an FPV drone reaches speeds of up to 150 kilometers per hour. A motorcycle on rough terrain doesn't close that gap. The distance between them never grows. The drone stays right behind him. He doesn't escape. Airmobile Brigade direction. Ukraine's 110th Mechanized Brigade. A Russian soldier running. He knows something is above him. He's moving fast, heading back toward the shelter he came from. The one place he thinks is safe. The drone operators watch every step. They already know where he's going. He makes it inside. The darts drone was already on its way. The shelter he ran toward became the target. A rare moment on this front. 1st Assault Battalion, an FPV, closes in on a Russian soldier hiding under a tree. Direct hit. The drone doesn't detonate. He survived the first strike and stayed exactly where he was. A second drone was already on its way. The mistake wasn't surviving the first hit. The mistake was not moving the moment he had the chance. A Russian soldier under a tree, staying still, staying low. Limited options, and this is the best one available. A drone carrying a heavy explosive payload closes in. The tree that was supposed to provide cover didn't change what happened next. When hiding under a tree is a soldier's best available option. What does that tell you about the state of Russian defensive tactics on this front? The same sector. Another soldier, no weapon, aware of the drone, but nowhere better to be. 225th Assault Regiment operators already tracking him. The position he chose wasn't enough. It never is. This Russian soldier was spotted entering a toilet structure. Caught in a vulnerable position, he became the target of drones and was unable to escape 2 drone attacks. Phoenix Border Guard Unit. 4 directions, 1 operational period. Everything targeted by FPV drones. Donetsk direction, artillery struck, a Kozyrog 1 multiple rocket launcher destroyed. Dobropilia direction, a large personnel concentration hit at an unloading point. Soldiers gathered in one place, all targeted simultaneously. Lyman direction, a Russian assault group spotted moving through vegetation, each soldier tracked into the tree line and struck individually. Airmobile direction, quad bikes, motorcycles, and artillery guns eliminated. 4 sectors, 1 unit, FPV drones handling all of it. When a single border guard unit operates across 4 separate directions in one day, how stretched is Ukrainian drone coverage actually becoming, and is it still enough? Ambush drones positioned and waiting. Ukraine's 39th Separate Unmanned Systems Battalion, Ariant, operating in the Kostiantynivka direction. Russian soldiers moving through the sector encounter them one by one. Some run, some freeze, some try to fight back. None of it works. An ambush drone waiting in position doesn't announce itself. By the time a soldier realizes what's there, the response window is already gone. Fiber-optic FPV drones targeting multiple Russian soldiers. 3rd Omega SOF detachment, Kostiantynivka direction. No signal to jam. No electronic warfare response that changes anything. The fiber-optic connection between operator and drone runs on a physical cable, immune to everything Russia currently deploys to counter standard FPV systems. One by one, each soldier is found and struck. When fiber-optic drones remove every electronic countermeasure from the equation, what counter-drone option does Russian infantry actually have left? Rodinski, Donetsk Oblast, a Ukrainian Su-27 precision strike on a building housing a Russian personnel concentration. One direct hit. The building that Russian forces were using as a staging point is gone. First-person footage from the cockpit of a Ukrainian MiG-29 shows the launch of an R-73 air-to-air missile and the destruction of an aerial target. In this footage, a Russian military vehicle traveling along a logistics route comes under attack from a Ukrainian drone. The drone reaches the vehicle but fails to detonate. The driver narrowly escapes the encounter. Kostiantynivka direction. Phoenix Team, Striga Unit, and the 17th Special Purpose Center. Heavy drone bombs dropped directly onto Russian positions. Watch what's being struck. Abandoned buildings, converted into frontline positions. Walls that once sheltered civilians now shelter infantry. A building offers more protection than an open trench, but it's also fixed, visible, and targetable. When a heavy drone bomb finds it, the walls that were supposed to protect become the hazard. When abandoned buildings become the primary defensive position, is this a tactical adaptation or a sign that Russian forces have run out of better options? Ukraine's 77th Airmobile Brigade, 7th Rapid Response Corps. Communication antennas and signal relay equipment targeted and destroyed. Every antenna struck here isn't just a piece of hardware, it's the link between a Russian drone operator and the drone in the air. Cut that signal and the drone becomes useless. An FPV without a control signal doesn't strike anything. This is counter-drone warfare without interceptors. Not shooting drones out of the sky, but eliminating the infrastructure that makes them fly in the first place. A Russian 152mm howitzer was detected and struck by a Strix team drone. The artillery system, capable of firing up to 24 kilometers, was destroyed by a drone, costing only a fraction of its value. One less artillery piece targeting Ukrainian positions. 2 fuel facilities in Crimea struck overnight, both burning. The Semikolodezianska oil depot, 200 kilometers from the front line. 9 storage tanks used to load railway fuel cars and supply Russian forces across Crimea and other Russian-held territory. The Feodosia Maritime Oil Terminal, 250 kilometers from the front line. 7 massive tanks with capacities up to 20,000 cubic meters, used to transfer petroleum products from rail to sea vessels. Russia's emergency fuel reserve for the entire peninsula. Both struck by Ukraine's Special Operations Forces middle strike units, both on fire. Crimea depends on these facilities. The Kerch Bridge remains under pressure. The Melitopol-Chongar land corridor is under systematic drone attack, and now the fuel storage network is burning. The war in the sky never stops. Shaheds, Gerberas, BM-35s, Lancets, Supercams. Intercepted one by one, each one carrying a warhead designed to strike Ukrainian positions, infrastructure, or cities, and each one worth thousands of dollars. A Shahed runs $20,000 to $50,000, a Lancet up to $35,000, a Supercam reconnaissance drone, tens of thousands more. Every intercept here isn't just a drone stopped, It's a strike that never happens and a significant cost Russia has to absorb and replace. That's everything for today. June 7th, 2026, day 1564 of this war. Russian total losses have now crossed 1,372,270 personnel, with 1,380 casualties in the last 24 hours alone. Overnight, Ukraine's Special Operations Forces struck two major fuel facilities in Crimea. The Semikolodezianska oil depot, 200 kilometers from the front line, and the Feodosia Maritime Oil Terminal, 250 kilometers out, both burning. Ukraine's unmanned systems forces also struck 26 military targets across Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Crimea, and Russia's Bryansk region in a single night, including a Russian Navy ammunition depot. A Russian drone struck the container building at Ukraine's centralized spent nuclear fuel storage facility overnight. No nuclear fuel was stored in the structure, and no radiation leak was reported. But the strike on nuclear infrastructure marks a significant escalation. Ukraine's SOF have established aerial control over part of the Melitopol-Chonhar land corridor to Crimea. The peninsula is now under pressure from the air, on the ground, and in its fuel supply. The front holds. The drone war never stops. Subscribe for daily Frontline coverage. No agenda, just the facts. See you in the next one.